I just wanted to come down and meet with the Somerset County Administrator and EMA Director and Somerset County Public Health, and I wanted to come down. My name is Rick Petrie. I'm the new town manager for the town of Jackman. Started in November. I've been up there for about 6 years. I'm also the program director for the paramedic program up there that we established. Before that, I was the regional EMS director for a large area that included this area for about 21 years. So I've had connections to the area and to Jackman for a long time, but I'm trying to work my way into municipal government and learning a lot about it. But one of the things I wanted to do is just come down and meet with you and introduce myself. And Jackman is committed to being an integral member of Somerset County, and we want to make sure the lines of communication are open. We're talking all the time, and whatever we can do to help bolster and support Somerset County would be great. We're more than happy to do it. We've had some good conversations with emergency management, public health, and also with general programs that we have going on there. And we'd like to bolster some of the rescue and response capabilities for the unorganized territories up north. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. Overall, I just wanted to meet you and introduce myself and let you know that we're looking forward to working with you and being part of the county. See if you had any questions or concerns for me. We want to keep communication open. We want to make sure that's going to be key.
I guess the question I would have is, how well plugged in are you with MMA?
I spend some part of every day with MMA and all of the various subcommittees of MMA, and I'm learning a lot. To be perfectly honest, when we talked about me taking this job, I told them I didn't have the qualifications to be a town manager, and then I found out that there really weren't any. But the one thing they assured me was that MMA would be there for you every step of the way. And, there's literally a guidebook or a video training on virtually every single thing that you need to do. So I interact with them and regularly. Because as you know, in a town like Jackman, you're the town manager, and in my case, the airport manager, the public works director, the local health officer, the overseer of the poor. And so there's a lot to learn. But MMA's been very good.
The selectmen don't do the overseer of the poor anymore up there?
Well, they technically are, but that's what they hired me for.
I used to be a selectman and overseer of the poor.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know from where you come.
Yeah.
We're a member of the Maine County Commissioners Association, so we work with MMA on a number of different legislative policy issues. So that's where that is coming from. How smooth, how well oiled our machine can be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just really been very good and very easy. They pick up the phone when you call, or if they can't answer immediately, they return your phone call within a very short period of time.
Right. Yeah, they're a good bunch of people.
And point you in the right direction, and it's been very good.
Good, thank you. Any other questions?
What do you see as your biggest challenge or problems facing the town right now?
The county? Well, up in my area, the things that we're looking at is the thing that we're going to struggle with is how to find a way to grow Jackman so that it can stay alive without changing Jackman, so that it's not Jackman anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the discussions that we have on a regular basis. There's a reason why people are drawn to Jackman, into that area, the northern Somerset County. But on the other hand, we need to find a way to survive. And the key is going to be walking that very fine line between finding sources of income but not becoming Portland, right? And Bangor and Lewiston, right? There's a reason why people come to Somerset County, right? It's to hunt and fish and relax and so we need to look at things like housing. Housing is a big issue for us. because we have a lot of people that have, occasional use houses that they, camps and stuff that they rent out. But we need to find a way to provide housing for the people to work in the mills and everything else. So there's a lot going on. Somerset County as a whole, the draw is that we're not Cumberland and York and Androscoggin and Penobscot County, and that's great. But with that comes we don't have the money to have, we don't have the income to be able to sustain us, and so we need to find ways to work collaboratively, work with each other to get the best, most efficient bang for the buck, right? So yeah.
How's your broadband holding up?
It's we have broadband, right? But it's sporadic at times, not as reliable as we'd like it to be. And so, for instance, which becomes really important with the paramedic program up there, because we're using telehealth and some other things. So we're trying to build on it a little bit. We put Starlinks in each of the ambulances, and on the paramedic response vehicle, and on the health center, actually, as a way to kind of strengthen that, solidify that. But so yeah, it's still, it's not as robust really as we'd like, but I think there's room for improvement.
Right behind you is Christian. He's our broadband expert.
Yeah, we met, we talked for a few minutes, and got an introduction by email the other day, and we're already making plans.
Beautiful.
He wants to come to beautiful downtown Jackman, and I don't blame him.
What's the latest status on the healthcare facility? That's been a major.
So Penobscot Community Health is doing very well as primary care practice. They're well established. They have a new PA there, Jeff Hobbs, who's doing very well liked in the community, and they've seen an uptake in patients coming back into there, and we spent, as you know, in September, October, November of 24, DHS and the state of Maine EMS office shut down the pilot program up there. We spent the first 6 months working with the federal delegation trying to figure out how to get it reestablished, and then realized that wasn't going to happen in the traditional method. So we spent the last 6 months devising a new system where we're going to put a plan in place to employ physicians who aren't working at a hospital, so they don't have to worry about the concerns that HHS had. And the paramedics will work as advanced practice MAs under direct delegated telehealth practice. So I anticipate in the next month or two that will fire up again and get started again, and we'll be able to offer the after hours urgent care that goes on. When we look at the total call line for the paramedics up there, the overwhelming majority of the calls is advanced life support paramedics, emergency response, people having heart attacks and strokes. The overwhelming majority, probably 150 calls in 2025, responding with the BLS volunteer ambulance service is very good. That's the BLS ambulance service is the backbone of the emergency health care up there. Has been for many years. And the paramedics respond to work with them and assist them. And that's about 150 calls a year. The paramedics have continued to do community paramedicine, which is outreach in the communities, doing follow-up visits with patients who have been discharged from hospitals, making sure they're following their instructions, and that they're not getting into trouble again. And that's worked out pretty well. And then we actually help out in the clinic. When the clinic is open doing acute care, if a patient comes in who needs a laceration sutured or something acute, a kid with an ear infection, the paramedics help out in the clinic taking care of those patients. And then the fourth piece is the after hours acute care, which is that same group, somebody with a laceration, somebody with a fish hook. We get a lot of fish hooking. Tip of the ear, things like that, that where that stuff happens after the clinic is closed. And that, before the program stopped functioning because of with the permissions you have with your own, that averages about 1.5 calls per week, right? The acute care. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but for those patients who didn't have to drive an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes and then sit in an ER for an acute care issue, not an emergency issue, that's a big deal for them. And so we're thrilled that that's getting ready to get started up there. So I would say that overall, to answer your question, that the healthcare has really rebounded nicely and is on the verge of really being as good as it was, right? As good as it can get with being able to provide that care.
And stable as far as you're concerned for the near future.
And stable, yeah.
Good. Thank you.
I really do. I really feel like that's going to be an important piece.
John? No, John? You all set? We're all set.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for
Look forward to
coming.
working with
Appreciate
you.
it.
As well.
You gave us some great insight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Luckily, it's been a good day to drive. What's that? Yeah, it's a good day to drive.
Find all new problems.
So on our next workshop is an update from Somerset Humane Society.
Hi, that would be me. Please forgive me not getting up. I have a physical limitation.
That's fine. Thank you.
I'm Bonnie Brooks. I'm the director of Somerset Humane Society. I'm here with Bill Graff and Sherry Lewis from the board. We just wanted to give you a quick update on the progress we've made towards a new facility for our organization over the past year. We recently hired an architect firm to give us a concept design for a new facility, along with an estimated cost of that facility. This process is supposed to be completed within the next couple of months. We'll have what we need to begin our capital campaign and also the information that we need to be able to start applying for grants and things through animal welfare. And we also have had 4 acres of land donated for a building site.
Is that the abutting property?
Yes.
Wonderful.
So that land is right next
Great.
to our current property,
Yeah.
which allows us to stay in Skowhegan and it will allow us when the building begins to be able to continue to operate while the building is happening, which is really important.
That's great.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I just want to thank you for your time and your interest and wondered if you had any questions.
That was one of them, if that was next door. The property that abuts. That's great to know.
Yeah.
I know that you'd been working on that for some time now.
Yeah.
To see that's come to fruition.
Yeah, it feels like we're finally making some headway, so.
Yeah.
What's the, I don't know if it's a secret, but is the projected cost of the new building, is that something you can share with us? Or, okay.
So when we met with the architect 2 weeks ago, I think was the second meeting we had, and I asked him that question. He just threw some numbers out quickly. The size of the building that we have, and it's being adjusted because of some other concerns the staff had. But at that time, he was off the cuff 2.7, which our goal as a committee was, and I'm not saying we can make this happen, but was always to keep it at 3 or under. Mm-hmm. Right? We're not going to build some grand facility that we can't take care of after we have it. So that's what I know about the cost right now.
Well, that's good. Thank you. Any other questions? I guess we're all set.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. And you're on here on the resolution for the $50,000, the last payment. So. And our last workshop is update on broadband funds with Christian Savage.
Good afternoon. I wish I had a packet in front of them. I saw the table before you showed up. Just wanted to do an update on the NACDC broadband fund. This is part of the overall CMP corridor situation package. And Somerset is receiving the bulk of that fund. It's been 7 years of back and forth and conversations, and 3 years is pretty heavy negotiating. So we have an executed contract as of 10 or 12 days ago, so happy to report that. This kind of gives a breakdown in this contract of what those funds will be used for within our scope of work. You don't have to read it now, obviously. This is set. Our scope of work, we kind of threw a large umbrella of what we might want to do. We're not beholden to do all of that. It's pretty fluid year to year. We might identify one priority one year and something different the next. It'll come down to budgets. Our hope with this is to leverage some other funding, whether it be public funding, private funding. I think the big thing on this pertaining to the commission is what's in yellow on page 3. We did write in some eligible expenses for emergency communication, cell service upgrade. So we'd be looking at probably partnering with potentially FirstNet, but definitely the county to some extent with some of the towers. Tim and Tammy and I have been speaking about some tower upgrades recently in new location sites. So definitely in its infancy. I didn't want to get too far along with this before we were guaranteed a contract and funding to come in. So that record will go. So we'll continue working with communications to see what possibilities there are. I know one huge thing is some dead zones in cellular. Mind you, these have to be spent predominantly in the 201 corridor area where the transmission line runs, so it can't be spent all over the county, unfortunately. But, there's a huge dead zone from Moscow to Aircon. The tricky thing is a tower across the lake or the river would make sense there, but there's no power there. So we'll have to just identify certain projects and geographic sites for that. We'll continue some of our digital skill building. In this, our first disbursement of $600,000 we received in 2021. 400 of that will be going to Fitting Fiber to build West Forks to Jackman. That'll start this summer. We slated $180,000 for municipal IT modernization, so we've worked with Town of Anson, Bingham, Forks, West Forks, Kirkland, and Moscow on IT upgrades for their municipal services. And then $20,000 for admin, consulting, legal, and planning. With $3.6 million coming in. Seems like a lot of money that we can make stretch. But if we get into cell towers and other things, it can go pretty quick too. So we want to be mindful of that. The contract's written for 5 years with a chance to renew and extend. I hope we can make it go further than that, but this is all pretty fluid. So, but I just wanted to provide that update. We'll get past the negotiating and into the work and programming.
I had a question, Christian. So the $3.6 million, if we spend it all, and then we walk out upon the land, and what do we see? What's the overall goal we're trying to achieve with this money? Is it just hyperconnectivity in the corridor, or is it the whole county? Or?
I look at the full county service probably with communications. Certain towers bounce off each other, so no communication, the sheriff's emergency management. So I think that would have a county impact. Most of this has to be spent in this little sliver of Somerset. I think with whatever we do, we want longevity with it. It's easy to make a big splash, and then a year later, everyone forgets. So I think long-term impact is what we're looking for with this. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of potentials for this. The SCDC board of directors will have their vote and take on what they want to see with us. I'll provide information, my input, but I don't have final say on it. So we have 2 commissioners on that board too, and I'll report as we get going. So there's a breakdown on this. So in your conversations with constituents or other communities, if something fits into some of this, please let me know and we'll take a look at it.
Okay. Any further?
When it comes to the corridor, are we talking 1 mile within the power line, east and west? Are we talking, I'm picturing like the other side of Wyman over Pleasant Ridge. I mean, is that within that range?
So there's host communities where it actually has a footprint within and we started using high-impact areas and communities as well. Bingham's not in that area, but the corridor does like a 90-degree turn all around it. You can see the towers there. Bingham's the last walkable community along 201 with a larger population density, so that makes sense there. I think if it's something in close proximity with high impact, we could make something work. If it's outside of that host community, but the neighboring community is an actual host community that would benefit, I think.
So does it, if a pole is planted within that town or township borders, the entire township is within the corridor?
Yeah. There's some flexibility. Before I got into how much I could push on this, I needed to execute this because it was much harder than it should have been. So we'll have access to the administrator of this fund on an ongoing basis, and that like a year 2 budget modification and program and scope of work modification.
Don?
No, go ahead, Joe.
So under goals for impacted areas include free internet access at various sites. What would some of those various sites be?
Usually they're anchor institutions, schools, town offices, places.
All along the corridor.
In those host communities. So it's really 7 towns we're talking about. Yeah. Some of our other work that state grant we've been part of, we have been implementing that as well. So all of the libraries in Somerset County have new equipment, Wi-Fi systems, and we actually have a few more months of that work and funding left. So our goal is to beef up the rest of the county, knowing that we could really make a splash in these smaller towns.
Being new to the board of commissioners here, I'm not new to the Somerset County Economic Development Corporation. I've been on that for about a part of 10 years.
And the vice president.
And I just want to recognize as a board the amount of effort and the fight that it took to get what was initially agreed upon to come to fruition and to actually change hands with the money. I play with Christian a lot, but I got to tell you, he was the right guy for the job. He's done a heck of a job, and the county should be very, very proud and happy that we have him. And I thank you publicly. So thank you. Good work, sir.
Here.
On some other money, unless there's any other questions with broadband fund.
No.
Robert had kind of pinged me on the loan, the status of the loans we administer. With the latest clubhouse $10,000 loan for the Bingham area, SCDC manages $975,000 in loans on behalf of the county. Those loans are, let's see, I printed small so they'll fit.
Patrick would have printed it there.
You'll learn.
We had the Grow Labs original loan extinguished. So we have the main part of the loan still outstanding. There is discussion on a federal USDA closing date this week or next. We're all pulling for them. So if that comes through, we're all paid off in full. So we're hoping that comes through. Valley Rider Snowmobile Club. We have 2 premium choice broadband loans and the spinning wheel loan. So we have $650K remaining. That $303,000 of it will be extinguished once we file our next corporate taxes. So looks like about $300,000 coming in still to the county. We pay the county quarterly on all of these plus the interest. So we'll work out a system with Patrick, try to make it easy for him, and go from there. So we will be slowing down lending a little bit this quarter, maybe next. So I can focus on some other things. We don't work with really easy customers to finance, so things like water. But we'll be focusing on the broadband plans and other stuff.
Good. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
And this will go. Thanks.
And no public hearings, new agenda items, commissioners only. Yes, no. Very good. Administrators report. No, nothing? All right. Didn't know you were gonna- Okay, we're giving you a chance. We're giving you a chance there.
All quiet.
All right. Finance report.
Tim and I finished up on the first round of budget meetings with the department heads last week. As you can see, you have the first draft of the budget in front of you. It's relatively flat to last year. There's a lot of ups and downs in it, but it's relatively flat, only currently 36,000 increase. The big ticket items, labor cost is up roughly 418,000, which is about a 2.4% increase. But we have capital spending down 339, so it kind of offsets each other. But we'll go into it line item details at 9:30, start at 9:30 next meeting, which is what?
The
March
4th.
4th.
March 4th.
So, yeah, the additional sales revenue at the jail allowed us to develop a budget in which we didn't have to use any of the undesignated fund balance to balance it. So, kudos to the sheriff for the additional revenue.
Any questions?
I have one quick one here, Patrick. I just saw this a half hour ago, so I am looking at the very first page of EMA, and I saw where the wages, FY24 was like 84,000, and then 25 went to 150, 26 is going to 201. Did we hire extra people? Or?
Yes, we went from one position to a dual position. It used to be just the director, and starting in 2025, we went director and deputy director.
Super. No problem. Thank you.
And you'll see, when you're looking at the EMA and the comm center, you need to look at those together, because with the new plan, the EMA is actually, personnel is taking over the EMA building. You're moving out of the comm center. So all the costs that's been shared between the two is going to be shifted from one department to the other. So to really get a good picture, because you're going to see a lot of negatives in EMA, and then you're going to see a lot of positives in the comm center. But if you look at the net of those two budgets, the net of those two budgets is actually 52,000, which is a 2.2% increase. But there's going to be a lot of shifting from one department to the other because they're splitting the cost back. So when you look at those two departments, look at them together.
Okay. And when you budgeted staff, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you budgeted staff, are you anticipating, you don't need to spell out a number, but is there an anticipated wage increase because we're in discussions with some of those folks, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is that put into the budget? Some anticipated?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I will go to Tanya from Deeds.
Yes, good afternoon. I want to give you a quick update. It's been 13 business days since the start of IQS, and I can say that it's been great. We're very pleased overall. There's been a few hiccups, of course, which there naturally would be, but the staff is liking it, and in general, our customers are liking it. A few hiccups. The online search had a few quirks, and it took a few days for that to come on board fully. So that was a real challenge for some of our surveyors in different attorneys' offices. So that was hard. And then the other thing, and it's no blame to IQS or our office, one of the vendors, Simplifile, who drops in e-recordings for us, it took 7 days for them to sort out their side of the IT on that. So it finally came in the following Tuesday. That was 76 documents all at once, and we rallied and got it done. So tough, but we did it. A few gray hairs, but we managed. And then the positives are just, I could go on and on, but just a quick list here. Customer service off the charts. every single time you call, you get a real person and who really wants to help. They go out of their way, could not be happier. The program is efficient, it's intuitive, it's clean, it's eliminating multiple odd steps we used to have to take. Huge reduction in eye strain, which I hadn't even thought of that, but every staff member has said it's just more comfortable to use. So that's huge. They have quick codes and hotkeys, making us really fast at our job, but accurate. The scanning's incredible. We used to sit there and hit scan, wait, so you get, 200 tax liens in the summer, and that takes a long time just to scan. These scanners just zip it right through. So just awesome. It's very intuitive and works well with the Maine tax portal, which has been a huge change for us. And then lastly, just their financial reports and weekly, monthly, yearly reports are really efficient. They're good. They're accurate. I don't have to hand write everything and do manual calculations. So thank you all for your support on this. Our office could not be happier.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sheriff.
Two big things. Central Square for the jail. It's a record management system. We're planning to go live the end of March. We're still working through some issues there, but hopefully that will be resolved. And patrol, we're going to do, looking at a March 8th kickoff date, and it'll be the first time in the county's history that there'll always be a deputy out on patrol. We'll start that. We're still working with the unions. We have to develop some MOAs for this trial process, but that's in the works, and that's the potential kickoff date.
Great. Questions or comments? We're all set. Thank you. Dave.
Things are fairly quiet in the UTs right now. We did have the pre-bid meeting for paving the Lake Moxie Road next year. Unfortunately, we only had one bidder that came to the pre-bid meeting. That was Pike Industries. They've done most of the paving up there. They've won all the bids, but we usually don't have many bidders up there. Otherwise than that, we're just going day to day.
Any questions or comments? Thank you. Very quiet. No unfinished business. We move on to new business. I don't think I missed anybody. Resolution 2628 to approve the final report on the denial of the Lake Moxie ATV Club application to allow ATV access to portions of Lake Moxie Road in the Forks.
Second.
Discussion?
That signature on that letter, if we oppose, do we sign still or do we not sign still?
If you don't want to sign, you don't need to sign, but I would appreciate the signature. Make it look unanimous. We already know what the vote was from the last time.
No, but I guess I'm saying is that letter was to deny it. So should the people that voted, I'm asking procedurally, the people that voted to try to keep it open, should we be signing that letter?
You really should, because it did pass.
Okay.
Well,
If you want to take a stance on that, I'm not going to force you to sign it.
Oh, no. I'm just asking procedurally if we're supposed, like some things when you don't vote in favor of, you don't sign.
I don't think you have to sign it.
I don't
it was
think
a 3-2
you have to
vote.
sign it.
It's just like a decision from our Supreme Court. They vote 4-5 or 5-4, whatever the number is. I mean, you don't have to sign it if you don't want.
I'm not trying to. I'm just asking.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah.
But no, you don't have to sign it. It's the bottom line.
Okay. Okay.
Free country. You don't have to do that.
I was just going to say, is there any more comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, so go. Thank you. And we do have the letter ready to be signed at the end. Resolution 2629 to authorize a request to the Maine Department of Transportation to reduce the speed limit on the Lake Moxie Road in the Forks.
Second.
Moved to second. Discussion?
I thought I saw some sort of pushback from the state about how this is sort of a pain in the butt, legally speaking, to do.
Yeah.
I know we had talked about it in connection with approving ATV use, but given the fact that we have not approved ATV use on the road, I'm sort of wondering, with all the truckers, other businesses, rafting companies, and so forth, they don't want to lower the speed limit. Why are we doing this, I guess is my question. We haven't had people come forward and say the speed limit is too high. So I'm just sort of saying, why don't we just keep it the way it is and not DOT or anything else with this process?
Well, I thought I remember during the hearing there were multiple people that said they would support lowering. That's how it was brought up. You didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up. They brought it up.
They brought it up, right. I think, and I saw that too from the Department of Transportation. I think what they're really looking for is for us to make the official request, and then they will deal with it. I think they're just telling us that don't keep your hopes up that it'll be 35 miles an hour. But I think it would be best if we put it in their hands. See what they have to say.
Well, I'm not going to die on the hill, as they say. I'm just saying.
No,
We've heard about how we have a general lack of enforcement up there. It seems to be sort of performative and to try to lower the speed limit there, where people are probably accustomed to going 45, and to make it illegal to go 45 is. I'm not in favor of it, I guess is what I'm saying.
That's fine. But we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Okay. 4-1. Thank you. The motion passes. Resolution 2630 to approve the final payment of $50,000 from community benefit funds for the Somerset Humane Society.
Move.
Second.
All right. Moved, seconded. Discussion? No discussion? All in favor? Let's go. Thank you. Resolution 2631 to authorize spending up to $100,000 from opioid settlement funds to purchase drug detection equipment for the Somerset County Jail.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Sheriff, would you like to speak to this, please?
This is a problem that's been identified. It would be nice if that money is available, but this past week I had a meeting with a vendor that's a nationwide vendor that I might not need this money. I might be able to do it another way, and I'm working on that right now. So just so you know that.
Would you want us to table this till next meeting?
That would be my suggestion or recommendation, because if this comes to fruition, because there's multiple components to this problem, and I'm trying to deal with it in another way.
Appreciate that.
That it might not cost the county. Well, everything costs the county, but I mean, it won't be as egregious.
Is there further discussion before we ask for a table?
We have to vote the motion down, right? We have it on the floor.
No, we just need to make a motion to table at this point.
Okay.
And because we come back up next week,
No problem.
we're just moving it to the next meeting.
Okay.
Do I make a motion to table?
If you want to.
I make a motion to table.
Is there a second? Second? There's no debate on motions to table, so it's just up and down vote. All in favor of tabling? Good. So we'll keep this on the agenda for next time.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it. Capital reserves, unorganized territory, resolution 2632 to approve a 3-year contract for road consulting services in the unorganized territory with Maine Highland Development. Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? We met with the fellow before. I don't see him here. All in favor? And it's a go. Resolution 2633 to authorize a letter of commitment to the West Forks to provide a grant match of up to $200,000 from TIF community benefit funds for a new fire station. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Yes.
I move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Is there discussion? Sounds like this is, yes.
Yeah.
Done.
Patrick, can you give us balances and when? So this letter is a formal commitment that we're matching 200 grand. So
Right.
I think we need to know where it's coming from, but what that benefit amount is, what's being expended already. And additionally, their call volume, et cetera, for the UT. I mean, $200,000 is a big ask. This is a plantation, albeit a very small plantation. Yeah, I don't know if there's not other ways to do this, so to speak, like with some of the money that SCDC just got, or elsewhere.
Well, I'll jump on board. The letter's dated February 17th.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about this? I mean, I made the motion because it's good to get a discussion going.
Yes.
So is this something we need, maybe could find out more
This
information about?
is basically they're applying for the CF loan grant through Susan Collins' office, where 75% will be funded through that office. 25% needs to be raised by the people involved in the fire department. East Forks, West Forks, and the UTs jointly share the expense of the operating costs. So everyone for operating costs are down to 1/3. And they're applying their involved towns and us to also contribute to the funds needed to build the fire station. And I know Forks held a town meeting to raise $200,000. West Forks has already achieved that goal. They may have $300,000. I'm not sure what their final numbers are, but they're looking for $200,000 from us, and it's going to come from TIF and community benefit. The last things we had for their fire department was in 2018, where we helped fund a rescue vehicle. They tend to do more rescues than they do fighting fires. That's true for almost all the fire stations in Maine. And it came up pretty quickly. I only found out about this about a month ago. The letters and the information was sent to me yesterday. I got them printed and I put them on your table so you could kind of view them when you came in today. There is no commitment if the grant fails. If the grant fails, nothing changes on our end. We don't send any money out. And we are looking at a 16-month period before any funds from the federal government would even arrive. So we will certainly have the ability to adjust and look at our funding through TIF or community benefit ahead of time so we can kind of plan if this goes through.
In relationship to the CDS loan, once that's approved, the expenditure of that 25% has to take place before that CDS grant is issued.
Yeah, I'm
Just went through and say, oh, we had it approved.
Then yes, you are
So
more date than
you're
I.
required to spend that 25% that you're putting into that, and then the money starts.
We have to do that before the rest of the funds.
Yeah.
Okay. From what I understand, the letters of commitment will fulfill that, but we may have to give them money before the big money comes in. But for the application, we just need the letters of commitment.
Right.
And
that
Dave,
happens as well.
but just to be clear, when counties gives them $200,000, that is basically, we're providing that for this service for the unorganized territories.
Yes.
That's our justification.
Yeah, they are, what they have now is very poor, to be honest. It's not much of a fire station, it's a garage. That's all it is. It's a garage, put some equipment in. They have no water, they have no sewer, they have nothing like that. And they used to be on land that was donated by one, I think it was Scott Paper at the time it was originally built. Well, that land has gone through Plum Creek, a warehouser, and then it was sold to a private individual who is now charging them $6,000 a year, if I remember right, and which goes up every year, just to have that existing fire station. It's over 50 years old, it's in extremely poor shape, so they do need a new one. So they've got land that they have to use for it.
How are they doing for people? Do they have staffing problems up there?
Not severe. They have people that go out all the time. There's not missing any calls. But just like every other volunteer fire station, there's challenging times. That's always a concern.
Cool.
And what was I didn't hear the cost of the station.
They're looking at $2.4 million as an estimate from Dirigo Engineering, who was the one they were working with. That's why when you said your animal shelter building was 2.7, I'm going, oh, okay.
Still look different.
So
Yeah, they're expensive. We know
that
that.
is about probably the average of any CDS grant that I've seen in terms of what they apply for after they get the initial upfront. What is this going to cost? So it's anywhere from 1.5 million to 2.7 million on any fire station that I've seen.
Yeah, we added a bay to our existing fire station in Rockwood recently. So even just adding a bay, quite expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any further questions? This is just to approve.
Patrick, do you have any, how much we have out committed already, or where we're at?
Well, we've got 1.5 million, so we have sufficient funds. We're gonna, before we have to actually pay this money, if we end up paying it, we'll have another over $1 million coming in. So.
Thank you.
And this is to authorize a letter, and I think that the next time we see this, it would be to approve that letter.
Yeah.
Let's vote.
So there's another step to go through.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, this I go. Warrants, Resolution 2634 to approve the treasurer's warrant for general fund, Somerset County Jail, unorganized territories, and TIF community benefit for a total of $334,221.48.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Let's go. Miscellaneous discussion items, commissioners only. Okay. We'll recess and execute documents. John, why don't you start with that? Mr. Alsop, Commissioner Alsop.
Oh, yes. That's good.
Yeah, there's,
Hey, are you?
this is our, is that. Those were
It's a nice. What's crazy is what's crazy is basically the mandates of all the animal control officers. I mean, they got to go somewhere. Crazy as it is.
Congratulations.